Okay, good morning everyone. Long time no see. How is going? I hope all of you are doing well. For today, we are going to introduce the core concept about the analytic hierarchy process, AHP. Basically, this is a very old statistic way inside UX and UI industries. And I hope that you guys can understand one important idea about design. For our design classes, basically, usually we don't give you too much restrictions. We just give you a very general topic about the things you have to do. Just like this time, the things you are going to do is about a performance art or exhibition design. And for the rest part, there's no restrictions. However, in the real industry, for sure, there will be restrictions, like the spec from the client, the request from your client, and also probably some restrictions, some design principle from your company. So there are thousands of restrictions, and these restrictions have a reason behind that. So for our school design project, although we don't have so many restrictions on your topic, but we need to give you some design methodologies and also give you some way to do the design research so that when people ask you why you do that, what's the reason for that? Well, you can have a strong enough reason to supporting your decisions. So that's the reason why we have to learn some design methodology and also statistic. For this time, AHP is the way I wanted to give you. So let's take a look. So first things about the AHP, the core concept of this statistic way. It's a very old way for statistics. So it's a method that combines mathematics and psychology to solve complex decision-making problems. So it breaks down the problem into three levels: goals, criteria, and alternative, and use pairwise comparison and mathematical matrix operation to access the importance of each factor. So what that means? Basically, for AHP is a way for you to make complex decisions. So for example, when you are going to buy a new backpack, there are many reasons and many factors can affect your decision. So AHP is a way to quantize your decisions, to quantize all these factors. Now, not only about your mental feeling, but also make this kind of mental feeling become quantized, become numbers, so that you can judge, you can analyze it, all these different factors, and then finally make a reasonable decision. So I think that's the interesting part about AHP. It's a combination between mathematics and psychologists. So here is some, brief introduction about the AHP. The founder is American operation researcher Thomas L. Seti from 1971, I think. And decision structures, so that's about the hierarchical level of goals, criteria, and options. So that's the things, that's the situation you will face when you are facing some complicated decisions. The core process is pairwise comparison. What does that mean? So which means that you have to compare all these factors two by two. So for example, when you buy a backpack, maybe the content, the container volume will be a very important issue. That's one factor. And also the price will be one important issue. And also the outlook of the backpack will be one important issue. So you have to compare them two by two. So price versus the content value, and the content value versus the outlook, etc. So using this way to get the final decisions. So that's about the pairwise comparison. So once you get the result of the pairwise comparison, then we will put these things, all these things into a metric calculations. Finally get the weight of each factors. So that's the things. And also we have to ensure the decision-making logic is very, very clear, its consistency. So there is a very important indicator inside HP, which means the consistent ratios. So if the consistent ratio is larger than 0.1, then you have to redo the decision. So please remember that, okay? That's the things when you are working on a statistic, you have to remember. Okay, so anyway, the applicable field, complex multi-criteria, multi-objective decision problem. So I think that's the things we will face in the design situation. Sometimes probably you can only choose in one, focus one important design element like color or contrast. Maybe these two cannot coexist. So you have to make a decision about that. So which one will be more important? That will be about your design principle. Okay. Okay, so let's keep moving forward. So here is an example. If you want to purchase, if you want to choose a better laptop, so what's the hierarchical structure for that? So for the goal level, choose the best laptop. That's the top. That's the goal. The final missions for this example. And second one, criteria level, price, performance, battery life, brand, all these things is about the criteria, the design principle. Then you have to compare them. So if you compare price to performance, which one is more important? Probably for you guys, the price is more important because this one is more practical, right? And for the price compared to battery life, yeah, for sure the price will be more important. And how about the price compared to the brand? And if you are an Apple fan, probably you will think the price is more important than the brand. So during this comparison process, we will make your decision, the importance become a number. So probably you think this one is twice important, 2 times important than the brand. And that one is 3 times important than the battery life. So we can use in this way to do the comparison and finally quantize your decisions. Okay, so the alternative level, the Dell MacBook, Dell XPS, Asus ZenBook. So basically that's the final one. So which one will be better? Which one will in the different level, in the second level, which one will be better? So we will do the comparison one more time. That's the idea. So we can use in this kind of hyper level comparison and finally make the decisions. Okay, let's keep moving forward. So design principle and spec mapping. So if you are talking about the HP application in UX design, what's the things we can do? In the field of interaction design and the UX design, so HP helps designer and teams systematically analyze the priority different design options based on multiple criteria, such as user need, usability, technical feasibilities, etc. So through AHP, it is possible to balance business goals with user needs, foster cross-departmental consensus, and enhance the transparency and the rationale of the design decisions. So anyway, I think if we want to say that in a more easy way, is that first things, let us understand why we need the numbers. Designers, sometimes we are very sensitive and also we are very emotional. And because we think we have the background about the kind of aesthetic training or probably the fine art training, so we know how to make things good. However, the clients and also the public usually don't understand that. So in that cases, we need to have some report or some study to support our design. All right. And sometimes it doesn't always follow the way we have been trained. Probably the result of this research will be different from our training. That would be an interesting thing. But that's another case. Let's talk about this one. So anyway, we need some number and we need some study to support our design decisions. And also, when we are faced with reality, like the client, like your superior, or probably like the company, like the public, there are so many different factors can affect the final result of the design. So, in order to balance and in order to make a reasonable and also logistic decision about the design result, we can use a static way to do the final things. So, for example, like the YouTube, the interface of the YouTube or Netflix, usually before they go to the final user interface design and also the dynamic motion graphic design, they will do some test for the user and to collect the data and finally using statistic way to get the final result and tell the designer, okay, this one probably will be better. For sure, the designer still have the freedom to make the final decision, but this number will be a very important indicator for supporting their decisions. Okay, so there are so many things. So you need to have a number to decide which one is more important. Sometimes they cannot coexist. They cannot coexist. All right, let's keep moving forward. So here is another example. So basically, we can using the user journey map, or we can using the emotional map to analyze the people's feeling, and then using this feeling, transform that one to questionnaire, and finally collect the data and make an AHP statistic. So, except first things for sure, we have to establish core needs based on user interview data. Okay, so here is the interview data, and then evaluate different functional modules like navigation, buttons, information hierarchy, etc. Then we can start to do the AHP questionnaire, compare the pros and cons of the different prototype. Finally, analyze the weight of the needs to determine core features for the MVP stage. Finally establish a shared decision-making logic to reduce subjective disputes. So we can use in design tools such as the user journey map to get a user needs, just like what we said before. Okay, so another example, improve the user satisfaction about the UX optimization for shopping app. So the criteria level, easy of use, visual appeal, information transparency, shopping process efficiency. Usually, I think the criteria level is something more general things. And for alternative level will be more specific. Okay, so we can only have one level. If you don't have so many different complicated principles, it is okay for you to have only the one level. But usually we will have 1, 2, or even 3. But for that kind of things, well, it will take more time to do the statistic. So for this time, at least, I hope that you can try one level. All right, so let's take a look. For this one, it's a website for handicapped people, the disabled people. And for that one, it's an immersive website. So for sure, in the visual part and also in the design part, that one looks way more better than this kind of regular format, right? But just think about that. If you are blind people, or probably you are the old people, you are the old man or old woman. When you went to this website, probably it will be very, very hard for you to find the right position, right button, or right section you want to search. But for that one, although it looks pretty ordinary, but well, it looks clear. It has a white color, very clear to see. And also on the top banner, it shows you what are the things you can do, and you can just click inside to get the things you want. And on the bottom, you also have many, many large icons to show you what are the things you can do. So sometimes the aesthetic and the functionality cannot coexist. That's something very true. It happens in architecture all the time. And also it happens on UX and UI design all the time. Immersive doesn't mean it is good. And the ordinary things doesn't mean it's bad. Depends on the user. Okay, so now let's take a look about the practice of AHP. And for this week, the things you guys have to do is about the questionnaire design. So I think the key word is the hierarchical, principle make, and also mathematical transitivities. So the LHP process starts with the establishment of the hierarchical structures, followed by the pairwise comparison questionnaire completed by experts or users. The questionnaire design focuses on pairwise comparison, where respondents rate the importance of each item using SATI's 1 to 9 scale. The results are then converted into a metric for subsequent weight calculations and consistency analysis. So what does that mean? Anyway, for your design principle, you have to compare them 2 by 2. Okay, for example, you have A, B, C, D, E, 5 design principles. Then you have to compare, okay, A to B, A to C, A to D, A to E, and then find B to C, B to D, B to E, etc. So that's about the comparison between two items and decide which one is more important. And how to design which one is important and how to represent that. We will use in SATI's 1 to 9 scale for importance. So which means that, well, there will be a dimension from 1 to 9 and you can choose, okay? So probably 9 is the most important. If you think 9, the A is more 2 times or 4 times important than the B, then you can choose in 9, etc. So that's about the rating scale. And about the respondents, or let's say the surveys, usually we will ask experts. So probably we can ask like professors or maybe teachers or maybe some professional designer, etc. But usually we don't get the regular user because regular user probably they are not that good in dealing with this kind of mathematical questionnaire. Okay, so that's about the practice of AHP. Let's take a look. So here is the SATI scale. So we will have 1 to 9 scale, importance scale. And here is the space design. Here is the example, okay? The one indicator, one element is space design, another one is social interaction. So which one is more important? You have to compare that. So if you think the space design is extremely important, way more important than the social interactions, so you can put that into 9, all right? You can put that into 9. And if you think that it's not that the social interaction is probably 2 times important than space design, then you can put them into 5. So that's the thing. But I would say there is no absolutely numbers about the importance inside the scale. It's just trying to quantize your psychological, your mental feeling about the importance. And here's a reference. It's just a very general description about the importance scale. But you can take this one as a reference. Okay, so now let's talk about how to deal with the questionnaire. So usually for the survey numbers, which means the respondent, we will take around 5 to 15. And in your case, probably you don't have so many people, you don't know so many people in the school or in the industry. So I would say just take 3 or 4 will be quite enough, right? And expert will be better. Don't choose in the regular people like your classmate. Probably this doesn't work. But if you want to do more, yeah, you can do that. So for this time, I think you can ask me, Professor Chen, Professor Han, and also I ask Professor Wu to do that for you. So you guys can just give me the questionnaire or send the questionnaire to them. Or yeah, and we can do the questionnaire for you. So usually there will be at least 2 or 3 levels. And if you only have 1, it is okay. So level 1, basically it will be about the criteria level. The space design, social interaction, technology application, that's the, I think that's the basic criteria for the shopping mall design. And then the second level, it will be about the sub-element under the space design. So for example, like the space design, we have the toilet design, probably that's one thing. Showroom design, that's another thing. And we have the rest area design. So we can compare these sub-elements with the with the 2x2 comparisons. So just follow this way to do the second level. And finally, once we finish all the questionnaire, we will put them into a metric and start to normalize the data and finally get the weight of each element to know which one is more important and which one is the secondary. So, and also in the end, we have to, you can do that or up to you, okay? If you want to know the final weight for every detail element, you can multiply these two. For example, this one, the final result, this one is 0.3, this one is 0.1, this one is 0.2, and you can multiply this number to the P1, so that will be the final weight for every element. You will know that which one is more important, which one is the secondary. That's the final one. Because sometimes you have to know, okay, probably the element 1 inside space design is more important than element 2 in social interaction. How can we know that? You have to multiply them together. So that will be the final weight. Okay, let's keep moving forward. So, all right, so that's another references for you guys. So if this is the level 1, the criteria level, and here is the level 2, the alternative level. So basically you can see that here is about the 3 principles, the 3 criteria comparisons. And after the level 1 comparison, then we can go to the level 2. And for level 2, under the technology application, we have 4 different elements. We have 3 elements inside. So you can do the comparison in this way. Okay, so final things. For the questionnaire part, there is important things you have to remember, especially tell your respondents about these important things. Inside HP questionnaire, you have to remember the mathematical sensitivity. Oh, a little bit hard to pronounce it. Anyway, so what's that mean? It means that if A is 2 times important than B is 2 times important than C, then A is supposed to be 4 times important than C. Okay, just like this one. So it's a little bit tricky, I know that, but that's the interesting part about AHP. Because sometimes if you are a human being, when we are thinking about the mental feeling, about the importance, well, yeah, probably A is important than B is important than C, but it doesn't mean A is important than C, right? That's the mental feeling. But inside the AHP, in order to make you guys important to make a logistic decision, you have to follow this order. So please tell the respondent to follow this order to do the questionnaire. I think that's all. And for the rest part about the calculation part, we can do another tutorial we can do another slider for you later. So first things, please finish the questionnaire. I know this part is boring, but also it's something hard, solid work for your design. And if you don't have this kind of technique, or probably if you don't have this kind of thing, and you only talk about, okay, because I like it, because this is interesting, okay, because this is cool, this is beautiful, I don't think that can make you go a very, very long way. After all, right now, including Canvas and also probably Figma, and not to mention AI power, almost everyone can do beautiful things. But the good designer, I think the definition of a good designer is that you not only about aesthetic or not only about your creativity, but also you can make all these things reasonable, and you can make these things using them to convince people and make money. All right. I know it's practical, but it's so true. All right. Okay, thank you for listening. See you next time.